So, welcome to Unit 5. This week we're going to be looking at how to work with default properties, events, and operators, and also at inheritance. Slides. There we go. So the objective, one of the objectives is to develop and use classes that have default properties, events, and overload operators. The knowledge that we're going to obtain this week is we're going to be able to describe the use of a default property, explain why you should validate perimeters and throw exceptions in your classes, describe the use of events. Also, you'll be able to describe the use of operator overloading. The code for a simple product list is as follows. Continued. And even continued more. So these are the members of the product list classes: new, count, item, item code. So new creates a new product list. Count is an integer that indicates how many product objects are in the list. Item is a default property that provides access to the product at the specified positions. Item code is a default property that provides access to the product with the specified code. This is more continued. Add product adds the specified product to the list. Add code, description, price, creates a project object with the specified code, description, and price values. And then it adds the product object to the list. Remove the specified product object from the list. Fills the list with product data. And saves the products to a file. Also, you have your plus and your minus operator, which adds a product and removes a product object from the list. And then you have the event change raised whenever a product object is added to or removed from the list. So this is an example of a default property that uses an integer as a perimeter. This property uses a string as a perimeter. And this is the code that uses these default properties. An indexer that checks the range and throws an argument exception. This validates data and throws an argument exception. These are 3 argument exceptions. An if statement that validates data before setting a property value. And this is the syntax for declaring an event with public access, and the syntax for raising an event. Code that declares and raises an event. This is the code that handles the event. The equal bits of the object class equals object, returns a Boolean value, equals a shared version of the equals method that does comparison. This is code that overloads the equal operator for a product class. This is the overloads the equal operator of the product class. This is the code for the product list class. This is the code for the product maintenance form. Go back one. This is how you modify a list class to use an indexer, an event, and operators. Shows you how the form is created. So let's do this. Let's go to chapter 18 slides. So I mentioned where we're going to talk about this week also on how to work with inheritance. So applied, use any of the features of inheritance that are presented in this chapter as you develop the classes for your applications. What knowledge will you gain this week you're going to explain how inheritance is used with the .NET framework classes and how you can use it with your own classes. Explain why you might want to override the toString, equals, and get hash code methods of the object class as you develop the code for a new class. You're also going to describe the use of protected access modifier for the members of a class, and you're going to talk about and you're going to describe polymorphism, and you're going to describe the use of the type class. Also, you're going to describe the use of explicit casting when working with the objects of a base class and its derived classes. And you're also going to be able to distinguish between an abstract class and a sealed class. This is how inheritance works. If your base class, your derived class, this is the inheritance hierarchy for a form control class. Methods of the system object class. And this is business classes for a product maintenance application. This is the code for a simplified version of the product base class. And these are all access modifiers. Public is available to all classes. Protected, available only to current classes or to derived classes. Friend, available only to classes in the current assembly. Protected friend, available to the current class, derived class, or classes in the current assembly. Private, available only to the current class. Code for a book class. This is another way to do an override method, or another way to override a method. And these are three versions of the get display text method. This is what your product maintenance form should look like. And these are two versions of the new product form. It's code for the product class. This is the code for the book class. This is the code for the software class. This is the code for the product maintenance form. This is the code for the new product form. So the type class, and there's name, returns a string that contains the name of a type. Full name returns the fully qualified name of a type. The base type returns a type object that represents the class that a type inherits. And namespace returns a string. Get type returns a type object that represents the type of an object. This is two methods that display product information. This is a class that inherits the abstract product class. Sealed book class. This is how sealed methods work. This is how you create a customer maintenance application that uses inheritance. This is where you add a wholesale customer, a retail customer. And use of the inventory maintenance application using inheritance. This is how you create a memory calculator. So basically this week we're looking at mostly at how to work with inheritance and the different types of classes. Yeah. So we're working with default properties, events, and operators also. This is the 5th week of the class. I'm going to try and hold the live classroom on Thursday night at 6:30. I have another live classroom at 07, but hopefully I'll make it this time. Again, reach out to me by email. It's the best way to get a hold of me. And if you have any questions about this week's assignments. All right, have a good week.